Hello, hello, YouTube, Facebook, now library, people of other platforms, people around the world. I give you a minute to come and sit down so you can listen again. Had a little bit of technical difficulties last week. Sorry about that. Internet is not always perfect. We know how this is. Everything is a learning experience. Um, so back on the touching basics of what we were talking about last time is uh, the reason why we have all this confusion and ill feelings and stuff that we can't explain. We have to look back and see how or what we really are as humanoids, as Neanderthals, as different jinna, as different archangels, as different humanoids. Uh, we're all mixed up. We're all mixed all together. Like, in the Bible tells how great angels slept with men and women, and then became giants and all this other stuff. And the giants have their little things where they slept with jinn and all this other stuff. And like I was saying before, our world was it's just a big giant dead carcasses around the world. So different people had to live in situations. Sense of smell had to be disrupted because of all these giant dead creatures, from dragons to fish to humanoids to people, aliens, all kind of stuff that we find in history of our world. That's the truth. We are mixed in every way, fashion. We are mixed through jinn, through angels. We've been in this world far longer than people are telling us, and the world is not even actually that millions years old. Um, uh, this is why there's so much different strife and stuff in us, and why people don't listen to different types of uh, music the same way, or the frequencies doesn't hit us the same way because we're different. We have to understand that our differences is root core more than what the church would tell us, what people would tell us, because they just don't know. They only know how to soothe the good situation in these sanctuaries, instead of telling you the truth, the full truth. When you tell the full truth without hiding anything, that's when you allow the spirit to really come in and work into you. There's no contradiction of the word, because the word is complete. The word is real. From the Bible to the Quran to the Jewish Bible, they're all the same. Different people's outlooks on what happened in their life with apostles, with you know different things of the history that was going on, different emotions when they were going on, different intelligence when they were going on. The Egyptian people was it's the same as today. The only thing is that we have motorists, horses, beasts to get around, but we're no different than the Egyptians back then. They had fresh water running. They had electrical uh, ports for their houses. They had heat and cooling systems for the way they lived. Um, these are things that they had already. You know what I'm saying? Uh, this is it's true. I mean, this is the truth that they're all hiding. The Egyptian faces on Egypt were black because everybody around there was of darker color, from black to dark brown to semi light. Everybody is the same then as they are today. Different mixtures of humanoids and other things that were on the earth. We had all this spiritual and uh, different types of beings interacting with us. Then we had alien uh, influences as far as an Anunnaki. Some of our humanoids that was mostly around Africa and around the world first were experimented on way first. So we have a longer history of going through different things with people coming in and trying to either if it was to better us or disrupt us is always the same as it is then, as it is today. People is trying to disrupt us and take things from us and do all kind of craziness because we all have issues that's mental anyway, and we don't even know what the root cause is. Well, I'm here to tell you today the root cause is we're all mixed. All of us are the same. All of us come from black because all of us are black. Even a white man has black in them, and they don't want to hear that either. You get the Sicilians; they're all black. They don't want to hear that either. There's different races of us all. We have black in it. We're all one being. If we go around the world, it's a mixture that blends darker and lighter, and it still comes up to the same thing: black or white or in between. We're all the same. And once we understand and put all this crazy hate about color and the way we look, because we're all one being's creature, I'm saying, a heavenly father above, um, call him who his real name is, Allah, uh, whatever you want to call him, you know what I'm saying? Uh, I think he's thousands of names that's great and wonderful. That is his names. We're taught this. Um, a lot of stuff we have to put away our differences. Now a lot of humanoids that have a lot of fear of all races and causing so much craziness is because if they had to live in these mountains, which was just decaying animals and creatures that was miles long and miles wide and thick and stuff like that, and they had to be in the stench and be into the craziness of survival. So when we had to teach them as how to eat and how to stand and how to walk, they may forget that. Now today you forget who taught you how to do these things, and you understand how to manipulate and take these things back from us because we were a pure nature race who had love in our heart, God in our heart, and a lot of things positive in our heart in the way of our life styles across this world. Not only Egypt, not only Africa, parts of the world, we're all harmonized in the way we were living, and that's been disrupted by Western ways. Who are you to say that we are, oh, because they're black or because they're Indian, because they're white, because it's all craziness. It doesn't make any sense. We want to strive for the future, but we're still living in the past. We're still living as uh, past individuals with the way we're thinking petty of color, of race, of the way we look. Is we're all of beings of creative through God anyway. Even the jinn, even the people who are doing wrong knows who God is. Once we understand who God is, we'll understand more about ourselves and more about the way of correcting our lives and helping everybody around the world. Let me see if people who are rich and billionaires could put 100,000 people to work and give people different types of um, employments and help people out, they could do it. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Then we have different things of lies was telling how the earth is so million years old. Listen, it's only several thousand years old. We're like history of 7,000 years on this earth, probably a little bit more and no more than that. God has recently touched and moved our lives in a short period of time, but we still forget that. God is still talking to us and trying to make us see the truths and things that we do. Because don't matter how, if you sit there and listen, He's talking to everybody. We're connected. We're connected in His body. We're connected in His mind. We're connected, and we're His soul. We're souls. Um, Churches are not going to tell you these things. They only know how to fashion the good out of it and tell you slight things of the past to have you have fear towards doing right. Well, that's not the right way of doing it because the collection plate or whatever. Yeah, every business needs money. Every business needs a way of surviving and stuff like that. But it's too much, too hard, and too forceful for gain, financial gain. And, in the word, it says you're supposed to study to show yourself approval by God, meaning that you learn things different around the world for yourself. So God can show you the truth of all things. God can work with you in all situations. God gives you all the knowledge and understanding to have wisdom. Um, and once you understand that, there's nothing can stop us because something in our heart and our soul, subconscious mind talks to us when things are wrong, like from the sodium radiation from phones and stuff like that, microwave radiation that they put on us now, which is crazy. They selected a few people to hurt and harm us. Why? For your experimentations? For what? Why do we have to do these things to us? Because everything in darkness comes to light. All things in darkness comes to light. In the beginning, it all came to light. All these things are common sense that we forget, that we don't really think of anymore, and it's ludicrous because we are made to be intelligent and powerful beings, all of us around the world. We could grow. We could do a lot more things to help this world. Look at the situation with Elon Musk. His group of people is intelligent. They made things that we should have been had on this earth hundreds, 200 years ago. We could have did these things with electric vehicles and trucks and all this other kind of stuff to stop the emissions that's harming us and killing us because of fossil fuels. Fossil fuels is hurting us all. Fossil fuels is killing us. Different things in the world is going to let out stuff that's going to harm us because of the global warming, because of the big giant trees that was torn out, that made this world look beautiful and naturally cooler. Trees that was really big. Look at Arizona, that big stump that's in there. That was so old tree that was that huge, and it's been weathered because of the flooding around the earth. And then after the flooding stopped, things dry, dirt becomes over it, and it becomes fossilized, where it becomes big as a rock. I mean, let's look at the truth of this. Um, there's different truths in this world. There's different things that the world tells us. We that you know the different things that the world tells us that we should pay attention to. You know what I'm saying? Um, Guys, if you want to join into my talk, let's discuss different things. Um, Come to a mediation of the truth. This is a channel for the truth. This is the channel for us to understand that we got to put aside our differences. We got to work towards the future. We got to become a multi planetary species. We got to work all of this together. These are things that, because, the truth of the matter is, our world is not going to live forever. The sun is not even that old, and it's going to end up growing. And when it grows, our protective realm that we have nice fresh water and can live with different seasons, it's going to change for the worse. And I really think that's something that we have to look at serious, because if we learn how to go to Mars, which is a little bit further from the sun, and when this protective situation in the universe is protecting our planet where it can cultivate life, it changes, yes, it'll make it easier for us to cultivate and make life on Mars. And yes, we could move and protect and save ourselves. You know, it's for now, because our currencies is monies and all this other stuff. Yes, we have to make sure we go and learn how to do things to collect money to be able to afford to do these things, because not everybody is going to have all that ticket trip for survival. Let's be real about that. Nobody has millions of dollars. Not our people. We don't even have thousands of dollars, because for the thousands of years, hundreds of years, we've been 400 years, we've been deprived of stuff. Deprived. We can't even get a loan. Just from the other day, I went to get a loan, try to get a loan, and it's all kinds of craziness. When all I wanted is a loan. Um, I could do a lot of different businesses. I have a lot of different things in my mind that could do to help all people. Doesn't matter of what color they are. The objective is to make money to support your loved ones and your family, and help other people, family and loved ones, and stuff like that. What is so easy to not understand that we all have things that we strive for? We all want to take care of ourselves, take care of our family, take care of our friends, do things that we want to do. We want to have a freedom. We all will have a free spirit. It's a spirit of God. You know what I'm saying? When we dampen those things and hold those things down, it causes tension. It causes us to lose sickness mentally and physical. The things we all doing out there is sick because we all bound to do things that we don't want to do. Maybe it's going to that that job that we we don't like because we have to deal with it because it's putting money on our table. Because a lot of us don't have education. A lot of us don't have uh, monies for college. It's the same thing in any other world. A lot of places around the world, they have to pay for schooling. They don't have schooling. They don't have education. This is a great opportunity and a great place to be at if we all correct and do it the right way without partiality, without prejudiceness, without judging the next man, without uh, having craziness. We have to understand that we're all the same. We all have things we strive for. Period. We all got to do this right together. Remember, together is stronger force than doing it separate. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things came from different races of people that made this world better. Black, white, Chinese. A lot of inventions came from us. Period. uh, because we all thought together of how to make something happen. We made our mind become reality. This is all we're doing. We're using the power of our mind to make things in reality. And we all have that gift. We all have that power. We just have to tap into it. Some of us may have to go to school to learn mathematics or whatever situations a little bit more, but let's do it. Let's not be ashamed of saying that we need help. We need to go to school to have these things to grow. Because let's be real, not all of us can rap. I can't rap my way out of paper bags. That's an X. Um, Football, baseball, I can play a little bit, but I'm older. I can't, bend the corner that fast. You know what I'm saying? There's things that I can't do as an older person, but when I was younger, yeah, I could do a lot of things. I mean, but our mind is usually disrupted and confused and thrown out there to be manipulated for other people to have gain and all this other craziness. But, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know, people. We need to pull together as a race of beings that's striving towards the future, regardless on how different we are. We all know who God is. We all know that we have a choice. We put here on the earth with a choice in our mind. We all know right from wrong when we were born. Regardless of how we're taught, we still know right from wrong. When you scream at a baby when he's doing something, it stops instantly and look at you or run to you and cry because it knows something is wrong. We knew, we know what's wrong and right. We know what's wrong and right. We know what's wrong and right. That's given to us spiritually. Certain things of knowledge and understanding. We have to have knowledge of things, yes. We have to understand how we obtain the knowledge, and the wisdom is to be able to use those things to make it happen. Come on, bro. People, women, whatever you want to be, gay, straight, we're all still a part of a body of God. We're all part of His energy, His force. Even the universe is a part of itself. We're a part of the universe. We're part of the universe. We're part of something much more great than a little pebble in the universe as of this earth. We're like the same thing as the sands on earth. We're nothing compared to the universe and the universes around this universe. We're nothing. But this little second, this little time, this little moment to get it right, to do things right, to become great people. people that's greater than people probably out there that's already out there. People who's looking at us now, who have their ships cloaked at all times, paying attention to us, because they know that we're a ticking time bomb. That's they know we're a ticking time bomb. Histories have shown how Mars is. That looks like it's much more than the planetary stuff. As far as a nuclear war, to me, that's what it looked like that happened in Mars, and they're just waiting for us to do stupid shit like they did stupid shit in the past to colonize our world, just to give up our beautiful world. We have oceans. We're not shortage of water. There's oceans in the oceans. The Bible even tells you that. The Word of God all around the world tells us that. There's oceans beyond oceans. Um, Most of the oceans we haven't even touched yet, and is in the earth. A lot of lies are being told out here, ladies and gentlemen, and we have to look at the truth. Remember, read to show yourself approval by who? God. That means search, knowledge, learn every little thing you do, absorb everything you can absorb to understand that the truth stand up in the paint by itself. It'll stand up in the paint by itself. You know, um, it's really crazy because, and then another thing, how people look at you because you're in the same kind of store eating what they're eating, in a restaurant eating when they're eating. We're human beings. We can't go in a restaurant and eat what you eat at. What the hell? I mean, you know what I'm saying? A lot of us don't like fast foods. We know the setup of the fast food chain anyway. We're not experimental creatures. We're not a whole bunch of pigs lining up to eat food that's be slaughtered later. Come on, bro. Let's look at the truth of that. The GMOs in the food, the fluoride in the water, the chemtrails in the air with the aluminum and plastics raining down on us, killing us. Different radiations that now they're putting out on us. Um, as far as in cell phone, 5G networks, as far as in radiation, period, microwavable rays, and all this other kind of stuff. What is going on with this world? It's so greedy and so crazy. It wants to whore up everything for itself. For what? Um, um, and look at the situation where electric is better than gas. I know, everybody has a hustle. We all try to learn and strive to do things to better situations for our loved ones and ourselves and our family. But, if we look at the movement towards electrical stuff, it's going to be needing components to repair itself. It's going to need things to always make money for the next man. There's always going to be money to be made if we leave the fossil fuels alone. If we're not greedy, if we're not people who's trying to hold up things to ourselves, because even if you live or die one day, because we're all gonna have to die one day, it doesn't matter how hard they try to make us live longer and all of this, we're still gonna die one day, and we still got to give it to our kids and family members, the people we love, to live after us. That's not selfish. That's being greedy. Let's try to move everything towards the future of us living, making this type 2 civilization, at least using solar energy taken from the sun. There's a natural nuclear power out there that we can use and um, to save ourselves. So, yes, applaud Elon Musk and people in his business that's going to make striving for this stuff. And yeah, he deserves to be a billionaire, a zillionaire for doing that because he's not thinking of himself. He's thinking about different families around the world that wants to live as well. Yeah, things happens to put a little money in your pocket. Hey, that's a good thing. That's a great thing. But let's look at the series of why we have to do these things to better ourselves, so that we won't kill ourselves, um, to make the world cool down because there's in-house global gases that we're gonna make. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Uh, this is basically what we think we should do. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I have different things that that makes perplexes me. I mean, then the subtleties. What is the subtleties going on with people? They don't even give you a chance to see or be able to understand that. You know, we're all human. We all might be straight, gay, whatever the situation is. But the way they're doing it with the light subtleties is wrong, y'all. It's sickness. Stop it. Come on now. I mean, everything you got to put your dick in or put your mouth on or get a dick in your ass a lot. Come on, calm down. We know that you're homosexuals. I'm a bisexual man, so I can talk all the shit I want. I'm going to talk all the shit I want. Calm down. Let the dick breathe. Let the people breathe. The reason why I'm saying this because I've lost a place that I was renting because of the sexual predators that's around me, because of the sickness of people trying to control you, and they can't control God's people. They're not going to control me or anybody around me because we don't live like that. You know what I'm saying? It's wrong. You know what I'm saying? They rather give up the $750 a month I was paying for a room, which is ridiculous, but they rather give that up every month that was paid on time to chase around bullshit because I don't want to go into the bullshit that they're trying to do. It's a sickness. It's a craziness. You know what I'm saying? You really need help. You know what I'm saying? And then you say, "Oh, I'm not too well in the head." Well, if you know you're not too well in the head, go see a doctor. I mean, that's craziness. You disrupt people's lives, and thank God I'm a person that tried to save something where I could move into another place and live my life still. I can still do the little things I want to do. Guys, check out my Mitch Quick Eats, um, yes, meals and stuff like that. I also cook too on YouTube, and I hope you guys check that out too. Like and subscribe. The typical things that you got to do to keep us going and bring more content to you. If you like and subscribe to this channel, I appreciate it. Um, I'm trying to have a lot of real stuff, so make sure also cook the cooking tutorial channel, Mitch Quick Eats. Pay attention to that and like and subscribe. Uh, if you want to donate anything, uh, you can look at down on the screen, and it'll show you. Is my Cash App, Mantis20, Venmo at Mitch Harper -1. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Um, you know, we all have different issues, and we have to understand these issues and learn how to, excuse me, basically know how to fix these issues. From issues from sexual predatorization, that's a sick and twisted. Um, Little boys and little girls, that's crazy. Taking body parts and killing people, you know what I'm saying? Take their body parts and organs, that is sickness. Even though there's a lot of blacks, there's a lot of whites too doing it in Paris and different places like this. This is crazy. You know what I'm saying? I really think that we should do something to fix these problems around the world. We're all humanoid. We're all humans. Regardless of the mixtures and craziness that happen to us, we have to still pat it on the back. You know what I'm saying? Do the right thing because God's still testing us. God still want to see who's going to be his people in the end, even after this. So let's not get too comfortable in this world. Let's be prepared to be comfortable in his everlasting world. This is what we should be really focusing on. And God is not a fool. He knows that even though most of us are mixed with these different entities, it's not our fault. God is not a fool. We're still going to be in his arms because we all come from him anyway. We're always in his presence anyway, at one point of time. So let's go back home knowing that we had fixed this crazy, bent, twisted way of life that we have and make it better, to be in his grace, to be in his arm, to have his presence. When two or more come in agreement, he's in the midst, means that he's among us. His blessings and powers are part of us. Once we're in his hands, nothing can pluck us out. All these things the word even tells us. Let's take it seriously and read and understand what we read and just not read things surface, because nothing is surface with the Lord. Everything has a meaning and different purposes in his word. He talks to us three-dimensionally, and the way he speaks with us, and the way he does things for us is three-dimensional. Everything in this world is three-dimensional first. Otherwise, this is how we can't um, work, because everything in our world, our scientific mathematics is three-dimensional. But he still came and talked to us through the word three-dimensional. He had three things happen with positiveness that make a change in this world, and it's a part of the way he talks. So a lot of times we have to look more than our physical and think spiritual as well. So far, most of us can only hit that two-dimensional, three-dimensional plateau. There's another dimension that we need to get to, and that's the fourth dimension. Fourth dimension. I mean, there's a lot of things we could learn and study. It's right there in the reach of our hands around the world. Now the internet makes things easier. But when you go to these different places, different parts of the world, you can see for yourself the truth on how people act towards you and treat you. As far as I've seen, everywhere around the world, we're treated the same. We show love the same. Um, Only difference is maybe how much earnings we have and saved. That's the only thing. But we're all the same. We all have compassion in our heart and love. There's nothing wrong with that. When people think there's something wrong with you doing good for another person, or want to take you out because you want to show your heart and compassion, and put them in the business that you want them to grow with you with, there's a problem with that. There's not nothing futuristic, uh, in that. It's a primitive Stone Age personality and makeup that's wrong. Um, Lord, let's do this right for each other. Let's do this as a one race of people. We're still God's people. Let's try to get it right, y'all. And if anybody wants to join in on my stream when I have the next one, look at the bottom. There's links that we're going to put out for you to be able to do that. And let's talk about this situation. Because a lot of times people want to be heard. A lot of times people want to see on how they feel, perspectives of how you feel. I'm here to listen, as well as I hope you're here to listen to me. I'm here to find the truth in all things. So, with this saying, thank you, and I love you guys. And we all need to grow up. A baby needs to grow up. Baby needs to walk. Baby needs, after he crawls, he walks. He reaches out to learn. We're naturally sponges for learning knowledge. This is why our spirit is so free. We have to bounce around and learn things, to pull things into ourselves, to make us grow. With that saying, goodbye. I love you all. Thank you.